Hi everyone, Salesforce Development Day 11. Let's see what we are going to learn today. We will see quickly go through the previous session overview, and then we'll talk about the Apex data table and what is the difference between the Apex data table and Apex page block table. And also we will see the data list, how to use the data list and where to use the data list. And next one we will see about the list views. What are the list views? How to use the list view in the Visualforce page. And then we will talk about the select list, select options. And finally, we'll have assignments and trial headings. So this is our agenda for today. What did we learn from last session? What did we learn this last session? Panel grid, buttons, command link, variable, preset, right? Right. And grid panel, right? So we have seen all these things. Now, today we are going to, last time when we have implemented the table, page block table. So let me open that VF underscore. So the last one which we have implemented is page block table. Page block table. Now, by using this, we have exactly implemented similar to the whatever the Salesforce view is there, the exact view of the Salesforce view we have implemented here. Right? Now, today what we are going to do is we are going to implement data table. Data table, Apex colon data table. Apex colon data table is it is a tag to create a data table in the Visualforce page, which is similar to the page block table, but there is a difference here. And data table also we use it for the creating a table, and each item in the data table is displayed in the form of rows and columns. Right? And the column header values is not updated automatically. So in page block table, what we have done is column header is automatically updated here, right? Account name, account number, phone, everything automatically updated. But in the data table, column headers will not be updated automatically. So we need to manually enter the name of the header, and also whatever the width is there, the width we have to adjust it manually in the data table. Data table UI looks like the same as a Salesforce Classic. Basically, it does not have any styling or the way of displaying the content or a font. It is similar to the Classic style. It is Classic style. So basically, you will see the output like this. So data table, output name, like if you do not apply any styling, any border, so this is how you will be able to see the data table. Now let's go ahead and implement it. Before implementing, let's see the decode of any Visualforce tag. So we have a self close tag as well as the open and close tags are there. And whatever the before the colon is there, before the colon, whatever the name is there, Apex, it is a prefix namespace. It is prefix namespace. And then after the colon, it is a component name, and after that we have a attributes. So this is the attribute decoding of it. So just take a notes of data table, then we will go for implementing it. Let me know once it is done. Done. Okay. Okay. Sunita, done. Taken the notes. Okay. So let's move on. Now let's go ahead and implement a data table. So instead of a page block table, we will be using the data table. Inside the data table, we will be using the same column, apex column. So let's go ahead and implement new Visual Force page. Now let's say VM underscore data table. This time, the object which I'm going to take is contact, standard controller equal to contact, standard controller equal to contact. Now, whatever the contact is there, so let's go to the contact. So we have how many contacts are there? So let's click on a contacts. Total 35 are there. Total 35 records are there. Now let's go to the developer console. In the developer console, Apex page block, and within that I'm going to use the page block, Apex colon, page block, Apex colon, page block. Let's say title equal to data table. Title equal to data table. Now, Apex colon page block, within this, I'm going to include a data table. So for data table, Apex colon, data table, Apex colon, data table. Now within this data table, we have a parameters, whatever we have seen for the Apex page block, the same attributes. So value equal to, now we need to provide a value here, value. Now value should be collection of records. Now in case if I want a collection of records, how can I pass it to the data table? From where should I need to pass the collection of records? If I need a collection of records for the data table, because data table is going to display the multiple rows. Now, in case if I want a collection of records to be passed to the value, so from where should I need to provide the
record set value?
Sorry?
record set where?
Record set where, yes. At the Apex page, we have to use the record set where equal to, we need to provide a value here, and that collection of records we need to provide it here. Curly braces exclamation call. Now after that, we need to give a name to this. Let's say it is a C. It is C. Now we have a record set where con, and that the same con I'm providing to the data table, which contains a collection of records, and variable I'm specifying a just a C without curly braces exclamation. It's just a variable name. It's just a variable name. Now whenever we refer this variable name, that time we will use the curly braces exclamation. Now within this, I'm going to provide Apex column value equal to curly braces exclamation C dot first name. C dot first name Similarly, I'm going to provide the last name. Email, and then let's say mobile number. Mobile phone. So click on save. Now let's see the output. Click on preview. Now, if you see here, this is the first name, this is the last name, and this is the email ID, and this is the phone number. But is header, did it came saying that first name, this one, this is the last name, this is the, whatever the header is there, header did not come, right? So whatever this header is there, header is not displaying it, because data table by default, header will not be displayed. So in order to do that, in the column, we have to specify the header value equal to, we need to specify the first name, and then here I need to provide header value equal to last name, and header value equal to, this is email, and the last one is a mobile phone. Mobile phone. Click on save. Click on save. Now if I display this, now it is displaying the first name, last name, email, mobile phone, like this it is displaying it. Right, so this is right now, it is like a one by one, like once it is completed the first name, immediately the last name is displaying it. After that, immediately email is displaying it. After that, immediately mobile number is displaying it. So there is no width is not available. So what I'll do is I'll just increase the width of it. Let's say width equal to, let's assume 75%. Let's click on save. Now it is little bit increased. If I say 80%, till this point it will come. Right, but the how much length it is going to take it up to the data tables, because email might take a larger and last name might take a smaller width. It's all depending on how the data table wants to divide it. Right, so this is how we can display the data table. This is the contact. Now, what I'll do is just to separate this each value, let me add a line between each of them. Let's say I'm going to add border equal to 2. Now let's click on save. Now it is displaying in the border format. Now we have a border, first name, last name, email, mobile phone. Now in case if you want the first name, last name, email should be center, you can add a center. The CSS you can add it. And this is the data table. Now let me compare the page block table and data table. In the, what I'll do is I'll implement a tab style, I'll implement tab panel, I'll implement into the tab panel. In first tab, I'm going to display the page block table. In second tab, I'm going to display the data table, right? So let's go ahead and see that. So what I'll do is, I'm going to add a apex colon tab panel. Within the tab panel, let's say this tab panel name is, we do not have a name here. So within this, I'm going to display the apex colon tab. This is one tab and I have another tab. Right. In second tab, I'm going to display the data table. So what I'll do is I'll copy this entire page block, Control X. In the second tab, I'm going to display this. Now, what is this tab label is? This is a contact details. Contact details. Hyphen data table. This is data table contact details. Similarly, I'm going to implement another tab where it is showing the page block table. So on first tab, I'm going to say here label equal to, this is a page block table. Page block table. Now within this, I'm going to add a page block table. Now let's say here apex colon page block. Apex colon page block. Now within this, I'm going to add a page block section. Apex colon page block section. Now let's give here title equal to, let's say this is a page block table. Information, and within this I'm going to specify the page block table. Apex colon page block table. Now for this page block table also we need to provide the val and var. Val and var. Right, and then we are going to specify the apex column. Apex colon column, and I'll say value equal to whatever these values are there. I'm just providing the value. So this is the apex first name. So first name, last name, email, mobile phone. Last name, email, mobile phone. I'll take a different var here because C is already used at the bottom. So I'm going to take cn dot first name, last name, email. Mobile phone. Click on save. Now we have a tab panel. Now first tab is displaying. Let me add a column here. Column equal to 1. Columns equal to 1. Now, so here this is a contact details page block table. This is a page block table, and the next one is contact details data table. So this is how the difference is. Right, so this is how the difference. When you use the page block table, Like this, it is going to display the data. If you use the page block table, in whatever the lightning view is there, the lightning view, it is going to display it. Now, in case if you want to apply any styling, like a first row should be a different style, second row should be a different style, we can apply it. So we have a row class. So row class, what it does is all the even rows will be on one color, all the odd rows will be another color. So let me implement a style. Style, let's close this. Now here I'm going to add one style, which is a, let's say, white. I'm going to take some background color here. Background hyphen color equal to, let's say, white. And dot. Maybe I'll go for blue. Now here I'm going to add a background. So what I'm going to do, all the even rows should be one color, all the odd rows will be one color. Let's say sky blue. Let's give the blue here. In order to add this, all the odd or an even number should be white or an odd number should be a blue. Now, in order to apply that, what we can do is at the page block table or a data table. Let me add it at the page block table. Row class, we have a row class. Row class is going to apply it white, comma, orange. Same row class I can apply it to the blue, white, comma, blue. Now here, the same row class I can apply on the data table also. Let's save this. See, like this, it is going to display. Let me change the color of this. Okay, let me use this. So let's go ahead and instead of this, let's use this background color. Let's say, now let me refresh. So now this is how it is going to display. So this is the page block table information, and here is the contact information, contact details tab. Right, in the details tab also, all the even is going to display in the white color and odd ones will be displayed in the, or odd ones will be displayed in the white color, even are displayed in the, what are the blue color, sky blue color. So alternate color display, if you wanted to do alternate color display, you can use the row class. Any questions before I move on? For the data table. Okay, so let's move on. Now the next one, which is called as a, now let's understand the differences between the page block table and page block data table. What are the Apex data table and page block table? What is the differences between the Apex colon page block table and Apex colon data table? Let's see that, because so far we have seen what is the differences in the user level, we can see here. What is the differences we can see here. But let's understand from the here. So Apex colon page block table and Apex colon data table. Apex colon page block table is we use this here we can use it for the Salesforce styling. Now, it uses all the Salesforce styling. That means whenever we implement a Apex colon page block table, whatever you have seen here, the format, whatever the format is there. So this format will be similar to the whatever the table that we have, whatever the table, if I hover it, it is displaying, highlighting the record. It's everything exactly same. That means it uses the Salesforce styling. It uses the Salesforce styling. Whereas Apex colon data table, it does not use the Salesforce styling. It does not use the Salesforce styling. That is the first difference. The Salesforce styling is used by the page block table. Salesforce styling does not used by the Apex colon data table. Now, the second difference is while we are declaring the Apex colon page block table, we need not to specify the header separately. We need not to specify the header. Now here, when I am declaring it the Apex column, and I did not specify the header value. I did not specify the header value. But whereas in the column, I need a header. If I do not specify the header, it will not display the header here. It will not display the header. Right? Now, but here in the page block, it is automatically displaying the header. Now you may ask that here also we have a attribute which is called as a header. Here also we have an attribute which is called as a header value. So why do I use the header value in the page block table? Now if we do not need it here, why should I need to use the header value? When should I use in the page block table? In case instead of first name, instead of first name, if you first name is a Salesforce field name. Salesforce field name. Now, instead of a first name, if you wanted to override the header and display the value. So whatever the header is there, that value. That means whatever the field label name is there, if you do not want to display the field label name, and if you want to display the different value, different header, then you can use the header value in the page block table. We can use the page block table. So that means the second difference is no need to specify separately header value here in the page block table. But in case if you wanted to change the name of the standard field, then you can use it header value. But in the page block, in the Apex colon data table, you have to specify the header value. If you do not specify the header value, it will not display. That is the second differences. And the third one is page block table has a list custom style classes because it's already taking the Salesforce standard styling. So if you wanted to add any CSS, it is additional CSS. It is additional CSS. Whereas in the Apex colon data table, we need to put a lot more compared to the page block. We need to put more CSS styling because the way it looks like here. Now the CSS which I can add it here, if I hover on any of this, if I hover any of this, the record has to be highlighted. The record has to be highlighted. So that also need to be placed as a CSS. And then on the first name, I wanted a sorting order. Now similarly, if I go to the page block, now here it is completely header is highlighted with the some card. Now here if you see in the data table, it is not highlighted. Now if you want to change the highlighted, then you have to apply a CSS. So compared to the page block table, data table has to have a styling. More styling has to be there. More styling has to be there. Now take a note. These are the main differences between the Apex colon page block table and Apex colon data table. Done. Okay. So this is how the difference is. This is the page block table and this is the data table. This is the data table. Now let's move on to the next one, which is called as a data list. The next one is a data list. Data list is, now here we are displaying the records in the rows. Records in the rows. For example, I wanted to display this data in the order. In the order I wanted to display. So usually if it is an order, if it is a normal HTML command, we have a OL. Right, within the OL, we have a LI. So multiple LIs will be there, and then finally we will be closing the OL here. We will be closing the OL. So this is what will happen in the order, like in the bullet point, it is going to display the information. Similarly, Salesforce also provided, similar to the HTML, if you want to display the records or if you wanted to display the Salesforce record in the bullet format. When I say bullet format, now here it is a first name, here it is a first name and then last name and then mobile number and then email. If you want this format to be displayed instead of a displaying into the rows and columns, I just wanted to display the step by step. Now, in that case, what we will do is we will go for the Apex data list. Apex data list. Apex data list is we used to display the list in the order list. So in the order list, we are going to display the list. Apex data list holds the collection of records similar to the Apex data table and Apex page block table. Data list also holds the collection of records. This is also holds the collection of records. And the attributes, like if it is a collection of records, it holds means definitely the attributes are value, which holds the collection of data, what are the data that needs to be displayed. And the var, we have to give a name of the variable. We have to give a name of the variable. Now, take a note, then we will implement the data list. Take a notes of it. Completed. Okay. Now let's go ahead and implement the data list. So within the same class, I'm going to implement another tab here. So the first tab is page block table. So the first one is page block table. And the second one is data table. And third tab, which I'm going to implement within this tab panel, Apex colon tab. Now this one is data list. Data list. Now here we are going to display let's add the label. Label equal to data list. Data list. Now within this, I'm going to add the Apex colon data list. Within this data list, I'm going to add a collection of records that stores into the record set var. So I'm going to use the var and value. Now let's take here con. This is, let's take contact cont. And let me add city here. City, right? So this is the data list. Now, in this data list, I wanted to display the field value. I wanted to display the field value. If I wanted to display the field value, which visual force tag do we have to use it? If I wanted to display the field value, right? So I just wanted to display the field value. I'm not displaying the rows and columns. If it is a rows and columns, definitely we have to use the column. But data list is not in the rows and columns. It is simple text. If I wanted to display the output label.
Field.
Sorry.
Output field.
We have to use the output field, not the output label. Output label is just to display the data. If you wanted to display the hard-coded value, then you can use the output label. But here we have to use the Apex colon output field. Output field. In the output field, we are going to use value equal to, I'm going to say curly braces exclamation cn dot first name. Cn dot first name.
CT, madam, CT.
CT, yes, sorry. CT dot first name. Similarly, I'm going to add a last name, email, mobile number. Last name, email, mobile phone. Fine. So let me add the breakpoint for each of them. So otherwise it will display in a single line. Now after ending this, I'm going to add a 2 breakpoints. You can't see. Now here, data list. It is displaying the first name and the last name. Right, these all information which are displaying it. These are line by line, each record is displaying it. Each record is, in case there is any value is not available, then it is going to give us the blank value. Like for example, here the mobile phone is not available, so it is a blank. Here it is a email ID is not available, it is a blank. And in this case, email and phone number both are not available, so it is a blank. So it is displaying it line by line. Now, in case if I wanted to display in the label name as well as the field value. Now, proper section I wanted to display. right? So one field here, right? So line by line, it should display. Now, if I add it within this, let's say I'm going to add it within the page block. So I'm going to add apex colon page block. I'm going to add this data list within the page block and page block section. Apex colon page block section. Now for this page block section, we have it. Title equal to, let's say, data list. I'm going to close this at the end. Page block section, and then I have a data list output field. Now let me show you the data list. I did not apply anything. It did not apply anything. What is the reason it did not apply? Tab, right? Page block section. This is a single tab and it has to be page block and page block section. Let me add it here, the title. Let me refresh again. Now I'll do one thing. Page block section inside this. Let me record the break values. Control S. Now it is displaying the data list. Now each one of them it is taking as a data list. So this is one data list, this is another data list, and this is another, and this is another data list, this is another data, right? So like this, it is displaying the information. So it is separated, each one of them as a separate data list. Here we have a collection of things. So what I can display is so based on the requirement, you can modify your Visual Force page, whichever way the client needed. You can modify it in that way. So it need not to be in the same format. If you want to change this names here or anything, if you wanted to change, you can change it. You can change it. Right, so which here it is using the default first name, email, last name, mobile number, automatically it is using. When the output field is within the page block section, automatically display the labels. When it is not in the page block section, then it will not display the labels, it will just display the value. It will just display the value. So this is the first name, this is the email, and this is the last name. But when you place it inside the page block section, then output field is by default is going to display the label and the value. Label and the value. Fine. Now this is about the data list. Data list is going to display the collection of records, but in the order. In the order format, it is going to display all the records. That's about the data list. Next, we will see about the list view. Now, list view is, for example, if I go to the Salesforce. Now here, if I go to the lead tab, as soon as I go to the lead tab, we have a different list views are there. We have different list views are there. If I select all open lists, it is going to display it is displaying the 24 records. If I create another, if I use or if I click on another list view, let's say that Bangalore sales queue. Now it is displaying only 2 records. Now if I click on the another list view, it is displaying the 3 records. That means based on the list view, the record selection is updated. The list of the records are updated based on the list view. The records are getting updated. Now we wanted to implement same functionality in the Visual Force page. We wanted to implement the same functionality in the Visual Force page. In that case, we will use the apex colon list view. In that case, we will use the apex colon list view. Apex colon list view is a Visual Force tag is used to display the main tag for a particular object. It is displaying the main tag for a particular object. That means single object, it is going to display the list view. So the attributes within this is the one attribute is mandatory. The Salesforce object for the which list views are need to be displayed. Which list views are need to be displayed. Take a notes of it, then we will see. Done. Taking the notes of it. Okay. Sorry. Till what you guys heard about it? Okay. So let me rewrite this. So right now we are going to implement a list view. Now here I'm going to add a list view. Now here I'm going to add apex colon tab, apex colon tab. Inside this label equal to let's say list view. List view, close this. And within this, I'm going to add a apex colon list view. Another visual force tag which is called apex colon list view. Now we have an option called list view. In this, we have a 3 attributes are there. In this, there are 3 attributes are there. Out of these 3 attributes, type is the mandatory. So let's take that type. Type equal to, I have just given the object name. I have just specify the object name. Now, in the lead object, currently which list view we are seeing it? We are seeing the Hyderabad sales queue. That the same will be appear in the list view. Now, if you remember one thing, on the standard controller, on the Apex page, we are using the standard controller contact. Standard controller contact. But though I am into the contact standard controller, I can still display the other object list view. That means list view does not care about what is the standard controller is having it. It just care about the what is type is available. What is the type available? What is the type is available? Now this type, whatever the type is provided, irrespective of the standard controller, whatever the type object name is there, that the same object name is displayed here. Now I can show all the list views that are available inside the lead. Inside the lead, all the list views are available. If I click on Bangalore sales queue, it is going to display the 2 records. Now let me do one thing. When it is refreshed, now I want by default land on to the list view. If I want, as soon as it is refreshed, by default, I wanted to land on to the list view. How can I do that? Within the tab, not tab panel. What is the attribute and where should I need to use the attribute? Now by default, I wanted to land on to the list view. Like as soon as it is refreshed, I wanted to land on to this page. For example, now here I am changing it all open dates. Now it is refreshing complete page, but it is after refreshing it, now it is going to the pageBlockTable. But by default, whenever the refresh is happening, I wanted to directly bring on to the list view. Now, one way is I can do at the Apex tab panel. Here we have a selected tab. Here we have a selected tab. Selected tab, I should provide it. Now let's give a name to this tab. Name equal to list view. Name equal to list view. Let's give this name on selected tab. Click on save. Now here, let's refresh this. Perfect. Now we are changing the Bangalore sales queue. When we change the Bangalore sales queue, by default, it is landing onto the list view. Now I can change the all open dates. All open dates. Now it is displaying all the open dates. Right. Similarly, I can create a Mumbai sales queue. If there are any records in the Mumbai sales queue, it is created. For example, if you want to create a new lead, click on this new lead. If you click on this new lead, it will be redirected to the actual Salesforce page. It will be redirected to the actual Salesforce page and it will open the Salesforce standard new page, new lead page, it will open. New lead page, it will open. Now all the buttons work similarly. What are the buttons we have on the here? New lead, accept, change status, change owner, add to campaign. Everything can be added. Everything can be added here. Now, for example, if I create a new lead here, new list view. Now I'm going to create a new list view. Now let's say what are we have here? All open leads. Now I wanted to create new closed leads. Closed leads. For closed leads, only I can see, click on save. Now here the filter I'm going to apply all the leads. Click on done. And let me add one more, add filter. Now let's say here lead status. Equal to, let's say closed converted, click on done. Let's say, now these are the closed converted, right? So now let me refresh. Now I have created a new list view which is called as a closed leads. Now let's refresh this Visualforce page. It should display the new list view also. Now here it is a closed leads. Now if I click on a closed leads, it is going to show me the closed converted leads. It is going to show closed converted leads. Any questions? Any questions? Okay, so let's move on. Now, next one, which we will see, we will talk about the, now, you guys might have seen about the select list. When I say select list, now let me show you here. Now, if I click on this, select fields to display. Select list is, which is similar to the this one. Right, so you can, this is a kind of a multi-select. This is kind of a multi-select. You can display the 100 pick list values, or you can display the 20 pick list values in this list. In this list, and you can select a single and you can select a multiple by selecting the, right, you can select a single record. Also, sometimes it is possible for the multi-pick list, you can select a multiple values also, you can select it. Now, how can we implement this screen? Now, whatever you see fields, the all the pick list values or all the values are displaying in one single list. Now, if you wanted to display this single list, how can we display it? In Visualforce page, we have a something called SelectList. SelectList. SelectList is nothing but it is used to display the list of options that allows the user to select only one value or multiple values. Basically, it is going to display like this. In this, it is going to display the multiple values. In these values, either you can select a single value or multiple value. You can select it single value or a multiple value. Now, apex colon select list is always within the apex colon form. Always within the apex colon form. It has to be within the apex colon form. And the attributes within the select list is multi-select attribute, because if you are choosing a multiple values here, if you are choosing multiple values, then it should say that multiple select equal to true. Multi-select equal to true means you can select a multiple values within this. Size is nothing but how many records, though you have a 10 records in this list, but I just wanted to show the 3 records. But I just wanted to show the 3 records. And then if I keep on scroll down, the 10 records which I have, I can scroll down and I can display the records. I can display the records. And the next one, which is called as a required. Next one, which is called as a required. Required is if you want this particular field to be mandatory. If you want this particular select list should be a mandatory before clicking on the save button. Disabled is nothing but in case if you want this select list should display, but it has to be disabled. But it has to be disabled. In that case, we can say disabled equal to true. So 4 attributes: multi-select, size, required, and the disabled. Multi-select, size, required, and disabled. These are the 4 attributes. There are few more attributes we will see later. Take a notes of it. Done. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and create a field. Now, let me show you. Select list is similar to the multi-pick list. Is similar to the multi-pick list. Now, for example, if I go to the object manager, hiring manager, let's go to the fields and relationship, click on a new. Now here you have one option which is called as a multi-select. There is a pick list, multi-select pick list, both are available. Now for multi-select pick list, click on a next button. Now let's go ahead and create one multi-pick list. Let's say names. City names. Now here, let's say city names Hyderabad, right? And then Bangalore, Chennai, right? And then Delhi, Pune, Vizag, right? Mumbai. So these are the couple of pick list values. Now here it says that visible lines. How many lines do you wanted to display? That means I just wanted to display only 3. I just wanted to display only 3 of them. Now click on next. Now as it is, I'm going on. Click on save. Now let's go to the hiring manager. Search for a hiring manager here. Now click on the any existing record or create a new record. City names, click on edit. Now here it is displaying. See this. This is a select list. This is select list. Now why it is showing only 3? Because I have mentioned the size of the values that needs to be displayed only 3. Only 3 it should be displayed. Now, if I wanted to see few more records, I can see few more records by just scrolling down. Now, the same thing which we are going to implement in the Visual Force. Whatever you can see in this box, the same thing which we are going to implement. Now, let me take a copy of this. Let's take a now let's go to the page. No. How are we going to display the? So how are we displaying this? Now this is now in order to display this data, now what are the things we have here? One is this is the whatever the selection is there, right? List, select list. Whatever the select list is there, I'm going to display the select list, and within that we have a different values. Within that we have a different values. Now that means here, this is a select list. On top, whatever the box is there, that is a apex colon select list. Apex colon select list. And within that, we have a different values. We have a Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chennai, Cochin, so many are there, right? So many are there. Now, in this case, I wanted to specify them. How can I specify these values? In order to specify that values, we have to use the apex colon select option. Apex colon select option. That means apex colon select list is there only the box. Only the box. In case if you want to limit the size of it, you can specify the size equal to 3. Because we have a size, and this size I can specify here attribute which is called as a size equal to 3. I can specify this. But inside these values, inside the values, if I wanted to display this inside values, then I have to use the apex colon select option. Apex colon select option. Apex colon select option is we used to get user input by choosing the value. By choosing the value, we can get the input from the user. Now, a possible way for this is either you need to use this select option within the apex colon select list or within the apex colon or within the apex colon checkboxes or within the select radio or select list. So you have a 3 parent for this. You have a 3 parent. Select option can be used either within the parent of select list or within the parent of apex colon select checkbox or within the parent of apex colon select radio. right? Check boxes, one is a list, another one is a check boxes, another one is a radio button. Any of these options, any of this, you can use the select option. Radio button, list, or check boxes. So any of this, we can have a child component as a apex colon select option. Apex colon select options. In this select options, we have a attributes. What is the value needs to be displayed? Item label. What is the item label? This is the item label. This is the item label. And when the user select this, what is the value can be captured is the item value. Now, for example, let's go to the here. Now here item labels are, here I have a item label equal to Hyderabad. Item label equal to Hyderabad, and then another one item label equal to Bangalore. Similarly, item label equal to Chennai. Item label equal to Chennai. So we have a few more details. Now this is the label, that what is the label needs to be displayed. What is the label needs to be displayed. Now when we display this label, now for example, now right now the user has chosen the value. User has chosen the value of Hyderabad. When users choose the Hyderabad, what is the value that developer want to capture? What is the value that developer want to capture is decided in the item value. Item value equal to, I'll say HYD. Item value equal to HYD. Similarly, this item value equal to Bangalore. In case if user selected the Bangalore label, at the back end, we have to capture the BAN. Similarly, when the user select the Chennai, what is the value that needs to be captured at the back end is value equal to CH. So item value is for backend purpose. This is backend purpose for developers. Whenever the user is choosing here value, what is the value that developer should consider is decided by the item value. Item label is the front part. What is the value or what is the label should be displayed at the on the select list. On the select list, what is the value needs to be displayed. So we have a two attributes, item label and the item value. Now, apart from this, we have a one more which is called as a item disabled. In case if you want any item to be disabled there, then you can specify item disabled equal to true. Item disabled equal to true. So that it will be disabled. The value will be displayed, but user cannot select that value. User cannot select that value. Take a notes of it, then we will implement. Done. Okay. No. What are we going to implement right now? Let me show you in the paint, then we will go in the coding. No. In order to implement, so what I need, first of all, I need a select list. I need a select list. That means I need here, which is displaying the select list. Now select list is going to display apex colon select list. Select list. And let's close this. This is the apex colon select list. When we create a apex colon select list, immediately we can see here, there is a box which is created. There is a box which is created and it has some kind of a box and it has a scrolling button. It has a scrolling button. Right, it has some scrolling button is available. So this is what will be displayed when I use the select list. If I just use the select list, this is what it will be displayed. But inside the values, if I want inside the values, then I have to use the apex colon select option. Inside this, I need to use apex colon select list. Apex colon select options. Select option I have to use because I'm right now one by one I'm displaying it. So I'll display this everything using the select option. Select option. Right? Because all the values I'm going to declare in the visual force. When I declare within the visual force, now I can see here each select option will have a one value. That means I need to create a select option multiple times. I need to create a select option multiple times. This is one select option. Maybe this is for the Hyderabad. Similarly, I need to create another select option. I need to create another select option because I wanted to display the Bangalore. Similarly, I wanted to display the Chennai. So which are which are the values you wanted to show here? Those many times you have to display the select option. For example, here I have a 10 values. Here I have a 10 values. If you want to display the 10 values by scrolling down, right here you wanted to display the 10 values, then 10 apex select options you need to implement within the select list. Within the select list, you need to implement 10 select options. You need to implement 10 select options. Now, this apex colon select list, I'm going to display within the apex colon page block section. Within the page block section. So this has to be within the apex colon page block section. Right? You can display without apex page block section also, but if you use the apex page block section, it will be like you will have some kind of a header, everything will be there. This is the apex page block section. And again, within this apex page block section, on top of it, I'm going to use one more thing which is called as a apex page block. I'm going to have this here in the apex page block. So I have a open apex colon page block and closer apex colon page block. apex colon page block. Now, whenever we are using the select list has to be within the form, apex form. So that means outer of this, I need a apex form. I need apex form, apex colon form. Because here it is required the user input. Here it is required the user input. Now let's close here apex form. Now finally, I'll be having the end one, which is called as a apex colon page. Apex colon page. Now finally, we have here apex colon page. Apex colon page. And closing the apex colon page here. Right, so this is completely a visual force page that we are going to implement. Now, if you see here, now the structure is first we have a structure of apex page and then apex form, and within that I have a apex colon page block. Then I have a page block section. Within this, I'm adding the select list. Within the select list is the just an outer box. Now, if I wanted to display the values, then I need to use the apex colon select option. Now, add the select options. If you want to display 4 values, then you need to add a 4 select options. And then finally, close the select list and close the apex page block section and close the apex page block and then close the apex form, then close the apex page. This is all the structure of how we are going to code it right now. How we are going to code right now, this is how the structure. Now, in order to implement right now, the first thing is that I need to use the apex page. I need to use the apex page, and then within the apex page, I'm going to use the apex form. And within that, I'm going to use the apex page block. Within that, I'm going to use the apex page block section. Till this point, let's go ahead and implement. So for what we are going to implement is, we are just going to implement apex page, apex form, apex page block, and then apex page block section. Only this part we are going to implement. Now let's go ahead and implement. Resume, file, new visual force page. Let's create a new one. Let's say apex colon. Sorry, VF underscore select list. Select list. Click on OK. Now this is the apex page. Within this, I'm going to add what I'm going to add within this. What is the visual force tag that I need to add it here within the apex page?
Form.
Apex colon form. And then within this,
page block.
Apex colon page block and
Page blocks.
Page block section.
apex colon page block section. Perfect. Now let's go to the paint. Now we have done this point. Now what we are going to implement? We are going to implement the apex colon select list and the select options. Select list and the select options. Within this, I'm going to add apex colon select list. And then within this, I'm going to add select option. Apex colon select option. Select option. Now this is the entire structure. Now let's add the data. Now inside the page block section, I'm going to add title equal to, let's say this is a select list. Select list. And inside the apex select list, we have a label. Let's assume I'm going to display the values which are related to the course. Courses. No, the courses which I'm going to display is, let's assume we have a item label and item value. So item label is Salesforce. Now item value from the backside to get for backside, I'll say sales. Similarly, I'm going to add a few more select options here. Few more select options. Let's say this is Aura. For Aura, I'll capture from backend AU. And also I'll development. From the backend, we are going to cover dev and LWC. From the backend, we will cover LWC, small LWC. And the next one is the integration. So backside, I'll say INTG. Now this is the values that I have selected. Now click on save. Click on save. Now click on a preview. Now here it is displaying the Salesforce Aura development LWC integration. Now why here scroll option is not displaying this because we did not add the limit size. In the select list, I have an attribute which is called as a size. Size, if I say 3, then it is going to display the 3 values. Now I have a scroll button option. Now let me add a few more. Here, let's say CPQ. From backend, let's say CPQ. And this is a FSL. From backend, FSL. And then we are going to add a lightning flows. Lightning flows. Let's say from the backend flows. Click on save. And here I'm going to increase the size to 4. Here I'm going to increase the size to 4. Now it is displaying the 4 values. Now if I scroll down, I can see all of them. Now I can select each one of them. I can select each one of them. Now if I wanted to select the multiple values, now usually if I wanted to select the multiple values, it is not possible. But if you see the Salesforce, if I can select this and I can select this. So multiple options I can select in the Salesforce. That means I'm selecting this, hold the control key and click on the second one. Hold the control key, and click on this third one. Now I can select multiple options here. Similarly, if I wanted multiple options to be selected. So what we can do is we have the attribute which is called as multi-select. Just say multi-select equal to true. Multi-select equal to true. Let's save this. Now it's refreshed. Now I am selecting this and I'm selecting the control key and click on this. Now I'm able to select the multiple options. Now I'm able to select the multiple options. Any questions on the Apex column? Select options and select list.
Ma'am, here we have 2 different tags, select option and select options. So what is the difference between the two?
Select options we will see later because as it is mentioned, one is a singular, another one is a plural. Now we have a options. That means instead of specifying the each value, here, so when I say option, single value. When I say options, combined collection of values. So collection of values, if you wanted to bring it from the Apex, or if you want to bring it from somewhere, then you can use the Apex colon select options. Select options is where you are referring the multiple options. Now, sometimes it is possible that instead of writing all the pick list values here, in the real time, what we will do is we will put this everything into the Apex. And this everything we will store it into the collection, list of the collection. That list of collection we can refer in the options.
Okay.
Any other questions? Now, let's move on. This is in the list. For example, sometimes if you see any forms or anything, right? So we wanted to go with like usually whenever you see in the form, you will be having a records. Like a radio option. This is the list, it is displaying it. Instead of displaying the list, we wanted to display the collection of values using the radio button. Now, for example, here I wanted to say Salesforce, and below I wanted to show you the LWC, and here it is a Aura, and below it is a integration. Now, what are these? These are the collection of values which I am storing here. Based on the selection of value, I wanted to take the input value at the backend. Now, how can we display instead of a list? I wanted to show you the radio button option. For that, we have to go with Apex colon select radio. Select radio. Now, Apex colon select radio is in case like this is Apex colon select radio is used to display a set of related radio buttons. Radio button.
అయిపోతుంది డాడీ ఒక చేస్తున్నా నేను చేసిస్తాను పూలు పెట్టలో నేను చేసిస్తాను ఏంది రోజా
Input element. Now, so here we in the radio option, the standard terminology is you can select only one radio option. You cannot select multiple radio options. Now, only one radio button is selected. At a time. You cannot select multiple radio buttons. And the attributes that we have in the select radio is first one is a label. Label is what is the value that you wanted to display in the label. This is a text value that allows to display a label. That is the first attribute. Second attribute, in case if you wanted to disable it. Then you can use the disable keyword. This is a basically Boolean attribute. Either you can give a value true or a false. And the next one is a layout. We have a new one which is called as a layout. So basically this layout is how you wanted to display the radio button. Do you want to display in the vertical or do you wanted to display in the horizontal? Do you wanted to display like this or do you wanted to display this first one, and then second one, right? And then third one in the horizontal, do you want it to display? Which way do you want it to display? Horizontal or a vertical? Horizontal or a vertical? Which way do you want? This layout or this layout? Do you want to display this layout or this layout? Is layout. Layout is the method by which radio buttons should be displayed in a table. So you have a possible values, either layout equal to, you can specify inline, line direction. You can specify layout equal to line direction. That means it will display in the horizontal. Radio buttons are placed in horizontal. Horizontal. And the second one is you have a page direction. Page direction. When you say page direction, radio buttons are placed in vertically. So this is about the select radio. This is about select radio. Now take a notes of it, then let's go ahead and implement. We'll implement that. Completed. Okay. Now here, instead of a select list, what I'll be using is, instead of select list, I will be using the apex colon select radio. So that's only the change. That's only the change. Now let's go ahead and implement that. Now, page block section is completed. Now what I'll do is I'll copy this page block section and add one more page block section. This is a radio button. Check boxes. And here instead of a select list, what I'll be using is select radio. Select radio. No, multiple, this value is not there. Multiple and size is, these attributes are not there. Click on save. Then by default, it is displaying in the horizontal. By display, it is displaying in the horizontal. Now let me say here, select radio, layout. Let me use the page direction. No, it is displaying in the vertical. Whatever we are displaying on top, the bottom it is displaying the vertical. Clear? In case if you want a checkbox, what you will do?
Radio button.
Sorry, in case if you want a checkbox. So instead of a select radio, you need to use another tag which is called as the apex colon select checkbox. Select checkboxes. So instead of a radio button here, checkboxes, only this circle, it will change to the checkbox. Only this circle, it will change to this checkbox like this. And you can select the multiple options. Radio buttons never, it should be a multi-select. So that's the reason that is a standard worldwide. So radio button should not be having a multiple selection. Only checkboxes and list will be having the multiple selection. So only the difference is whatever the circle is there, it will be displayed in the square button. So that's about the select checkboxes. So that's the homework. Okay, implement a courses list, right? Courses list, implement a visual course page. Assignment. Implement visual course page to display courses using the apex colon select checkboxes. Apex colon select checkboxes, and user should have flexibility to choose multiple values. And apex select checkboxes attributes are same as the select radio. Same as select radio. Only the difference is multiple options you do not have in the select radio. In the checkboxes you have a multiple. Only the difference is multi-select. Multi-select is not available here. Multi-select is available in the apex select checkbox. So rest all things are same. Layout, disabled, label, line direction, page direction, everything is same. Everything is same. So that's the homework. Will you guys able to do that? Okay. So let's move on. Now assignment. Write a program using the visual course page to display the 4 tabs. Lead information, it should display the list. Account information, and another third tab is also account information. And next one is a tab 3, page table, account, display, tab 4, data table, display. Now let me show you this. Now here it is a lead information list, account information to be decided, account information using the output field. Tab 3 page table account display. Tab 4 data table account display. So these are the information. In the first tab, lead information list, you need to display the list view. You need to display the list view of the table. Lead list view, you need to display it. So which you should have a list view here, which should be displayed all this information. Now, second tab is account information to be decided. Now this should have all the account details. Maximum it can show up to 20 records. Similar to the select table, what are the page block table limits are there? The same limits are applied to the data list. So here I need to display the records using the data list, but it should have a name in front of it. And then whatever the each field, before the each field, I should have a name and I should have a rating and the phone number. It is here written T-phone, but it is actually a phone. Right? The header should be a bold color before the value. Whatever the label name is there, the label name should be in the bold. This is the second one. Account information to be decided. And the third one is account information output field. This is using the output field. You have to display the output field in the third tab. And the fourth one is table to display the account. Whatever the account display table is there, you need to display the page block table in fourth tab. Page block table, which displaying the account details, and it has a odd and even should have a different colors. All odd and even, right, should have a different colors. Similarly, the last fifth one is a data table. Fifth tab is data table account display. You need to display the data table here. Here also you have a odd and even rows have a different color. It should have a different color. Now that's all for today. Any other questions? Now let me show you one thing. Now before that, let me go ahead. Now, so far, what we have discussed. So far, what we have discussed from the beginning till now. From the beginning till now, what we have discussed. In the Visual Force page. In the Visual Force page, we have discussed about the input, Visual Force tags, input, Visual Force tags, which includes the apex colon input, apex colon input field, right? All those. And also we have discussed about the output Visual Force tag, output Visual Force tag. And then we discussed about the apex colon page, page block, page block section, page block table, and then we have discussed about the apex colon columns, and also we have discussed about the apex colon details to display the detail tab, and then we have discussed about the apex colon image, and also we have discussed about the apex colon style sheet, and then we have discussed about the apex colon variable, and we have discussed about the apex colon panel grid, and what else we have discussed? Apex colon first, apex colon form, apex colon para, and we have discussed about the apex colon command button, and we have discussed about the apex colon command link, command, link. And what else we have discussed? Today we have discussed about the apex colon select list. Apex colon select options. Select option. Apex colon select radio. Apex colon select checkbox. Apex colon data table. Apex colon list view. Apex colon data list. Right, what else we have discussed apart from this? Anything that we have discussed apart from this?
Static resource
Tab,
controls, standard control,
Apex colon tab panel.
Apple,
Apex colon tab. What else? Details I have added. What else we have discussed? Anything apart from this? Standard controller is a attribute within the Apex page.
Output label.
Output label, output field, everything is here. So we have seen how many are there? 26. 26 plus 4, around 35 tags, because in the output we have at least 2 to 3 tags, and input also we have it 2 to 3 tags. Panel grid, okay,
26 madam.
26 are there. Panel grid. Action function, we have,
Panel grid is there madam on top.
sorry,
Already it is there. Panel
panel
grid.
grid we have added. Okay. So total these are 26 plus here input fields, some 3 or 4 visual force tags, and in input in output also 3 visual force tags. So total around 35, around 35 visual force tags which we have discussed so far. So if you go here, if you go to the component differences, go here. Now, whatever the tags you see here, most of the things you might be aware of it. Apex data list, data table, right details, facet, form, image, input, input checkbox, input field, input file, input hidden, input secret, input text area, right? We know that list view. And then we have discussed output field, output label, output panel, output text, page block button. I have not added the page block button. Apex colon page block button. Page block buttons, And the section item, page block table, right? So panel grid, param, which we have already seen. The related list, we have seen the related list also. Apex colon, related list. Right, so yeah, select list, select checkbox, select option, select radio, style sheet, tab panel, variable. So these all almost we have seen, right? And there are few visual force tags are there which are starting with charter, which are starting with the charter, few are starting with the flow, few are starting with the idea, few of them are starting with the messaging, few of them starting with the site, support, topic, weight. But we mostly do not use this message, site, social, support, topic, we do not use it in real time. Maybe if you are going to use it, you might use the charter with followers. Charter with the followers is basically in case if you want, for example, we have seen in the Apex detail page, in case if you wanted to see all the records without the charter box, without the charter post. Now here, let's open the image of show field. Now here, this is a charter. Now in case if you do not want the charter, then what we used to do is we used to just display information here. For example, here I'm adding some post. Hi Florida. How is the sale going on? So these are the some charter posts, right? Some scenarios, what will happen is they just wanted to see the charter. Only this part they wanted to see. Only this part they wanted to see. They do not want to see the record. In that case, what we use is we use the charter colon feed with followers. So wherever it is starting with the charter, those are related to the charter. Whatever we have a charter information are there, only that. Now let's implement new Visual Force page. VF underscore, let's say charter. Now here I'm going to say standard controller equal to account. Now here I'm going to use the charter field with followers. Let's say entity ID. There are attributes which are entity ID. I need to specify the ID. So this is the ID. Control C and let's specify. Curly braces account ID. Account ID. Let's save this. Now click on review. Now and keep the ID here, ID equal to whatever the ID is there. Now here it is just displaying the charter information. It is just displaying the charter information. So account, and this is the ID for this account, and what is the charter information if we wanted to know. So only those charter information can be viewed, not the record details. For that purpose, we use a charter Visual Force tag, but it is very rare. Flow interview is, this is a, for the lightning flows, we will use it. For the lightning flows, we will use it. So this flow interview we will see later. And idea is very rare to use it. Messaging is also very rare to use it. Right, so mostly we have covered everything. There are few more here and there, few more are there. Those I'll be covering it. Next, we will move on to the Apex. Okay, so that's all for now.